Hi kids, welcome to Miss Nancy's Bible College for Kids. I'm so excited to have you. This month we are going to start a series on encounters with angels. And each one of them I want to start with one of my favorite verses in the Bible. I think they all are, but it's in Hebrews 13:2, and it says, "Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, thereby some have entertained angels unaware." Do you realize if you saw an angel today walking around, you would not know it? In some of these stories, and we've had a lot of these lessons, but not on this level. And so we're not going to do the questions and answers, but I still want you to pay good attention that it interchanges the word men or man for angel or angels. So I just want you to think about this as we get started. We're going to start in the first book, Genesis, in chapter 16. It's the first mention of an angel. And it's a lady named Hagar. And she is Sarai, or Abraham's wife. At this time, he was Abram, she was Sarai. But Sarah, she wanted a baby, but she had no baby. So she told Abraham to take her handmaid, who is Hagar. And this is Hagar's story. After Hagar, I don't know why I'm struggling with that, is expecting Abram's child, then Sarah says, "Get rid of her. I don't want her around me. She despises me," or makes lightly of her, makes fun of her. So anyway, here's Hagar going out into the wilderness. And the angel of the Lord, now kids, we've talked about who the angel of the Lord is. It is Jesus himself in the spirit form way before he was on earth. But the angel of the Lord found her, Hagar, by the fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way to Shur. And he said, "Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence camest thou, and whither wilt thou go?" And she said, "I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai." And the angel of the Lord said unto her, "Return to thy mistress, and submit thyself under her hands." And the angel of the Lord said unto her, "I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude." And the angel of the Lord said unto her, "Behold, thou art with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord had heard thy affliction." When you pray or cry out, guys, God always hears you. And this is what the Lord says about Hagar's son Ishmael. "He will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren." And she called the name of the Lord that spake unto her, "Thou God sent me." So she knew that there was something special about her Lord, her God. And he was the angel of the Lord. And so the second one we're going to go to is in chapter 18. This one's unique by itself. It's talking about Abraham and the Lord. And Miss Nancy wants to give you this story because it goes from the Lord with two angels down to two angels going on. So this is the next two stories, really. But we're going to start with Abraham and God. "The Lord appeared unto him," Abraham, "in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men," don't say nothing about angels, "stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door, and bowed himself toward the ground." So he also knew that this was something special. "And said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts. After that ye shall pass on. For therefore are ye come to your servant?" And they said, "So do as thou hast said." And Abraham hastened unto the tent, unto Sarah, and said, "Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the earth." Knead it is like this, children. I don't know if anybody still does it or not. And Abraham ran into the herd and fetched a calf, tender and good, and gave it unto a young man, and he hasted to dress it. That means hurried. And he took butter and milk and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them, the three men. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. I love that. And they said unto him, Where is Sarah, thy wife? Sarah, not Sarai. And he said, Behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return. Now this is the Lord. I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah, thy wife, shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door, which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. Therefore Sarah laughed. I can just hear it. Oh, I'm going to have a baby. But anyway, within herself, saying, After I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also? And the Lord said unto Abraham, Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I of a surety bear a child, which am old? And then he asks this question, Is anything too hard for the Lord? The answer is no, it is not. Anyway, at that time appointed, I will return unto thee according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Then Sarah denied, saying, I laugh not. And here's why. For she was afraid. I would have been too. And he said, Nay, but thou didst laugh. And the men rose up from thence and looked towards Sodom. And Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. He was going to say, Here you go, guys, there it is. And the Lord said, now remember, the Lord is one of these three men. Shall I hide the thing from Abraham, that thing which I do? Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. And here's why he's saying, should I tell him or should I hide it? For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord to do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him. And the Lord said, Because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is coming to me. And if not, I will know it. So he said, I'm going to check it out, but already he knew. And the men turned their faces from thence and went toward Sodom. But Abraham stood yet before the Lord. So one stays, the Lord, and two goes. And Abraham drew near and said, Will thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Peradventure, he's saying perhaps, or what if, there be 50 righteous within the city. Will thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are in it, that are therein? That be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked. That be far from thee. Shall not the judge, and this is a capital J, of all the earth do right? So he's saying, God, are you going to do right, or just take them all? And the Lord said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare the place, all the place, for their sakes. And Abraham answered, Abraham answered and said, Behold now, I have taken upon me to speak up unto the Lord, which am but dust and ashes. He said, I'm nothing, Lord, but please, can I just talk to you a minute? And let me say, we're nothing but dust either. And anytime we want his attention, all we have to do is talk to the Lord. He will answer. He does hear each and every time. And then he goes on to say, Peradventure there shall live there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Will thou destroy all of the city for lack of 5? So he's begging for 45. And he said, if I find there 40 and 5, I will not destroy it. And he spake again unto him. This is Abraham again begging. Yet again, and said, peradventure there shall be 40 there found. And he said, I will not do it for 40's sake. Now the intro to this, Miss Nancy forgot to give you, is he told Abraham to leave his people, leave his land, and to go where he'll tell him. Abraham didn't know where he was going. Abraham left, he obeyed, but he took a kinsman with him named Lot. Well, Lot and his family had to separate from Abraham and his family because the herdsmen started quarreling. And so they're talking right now about the place where Lot, Abraham's kinsman, went. And Abraham is begging God because he knows that he has someone that he loves in that city. So Miss Nancy's getting old and forgetful, but there's the beginning of the story, and now we'll finish this one. And he said unto him, O let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak. Peradventure there shall be 30 found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. He's bargaining with the Lord. And he said, behold now, I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord. Peradventure 20 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 20's sake. And he said, oh, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak but this once. Peradventure 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake. So he goes down as low as he possibly can. And the Lord went his way. So now those 2 men that was with him had already left, going towards Lot, going towards Sodom. And now the Lord himself is going that way. And the Lord went his way as soon as he left communion with Abraham, and Abraham returned unto his place. And there came 2 angels. See, it was men before. Now, there came 2 angels to Sodom at even. So it took him the rest of the day to get there. And Lot, here's Lot's encounter. So far we've had Hagar's and Abraham's. And now we've got Lot's. 2 angels came to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. So now it says angels. So I imagine that he knew something about these 2. And he said, behold now, my lords, it shows respect and reverence. Turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night. And wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early, and go on your ways. And they said, nay, nope, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, now this is that wicked city that God is looking at to destroy. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot, and said unto him, where are the men which came in unto thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. They was going to do wickedness, babies. Well, let's see what Lot says. And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after them, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold, now I have 2 daughters, which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing. For therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. He's saying, don't do this. They're my guests. Please don't do this. And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came in to sojourn, which means to visit, to stay just a little while. But he'd been there a long while. and he will needs be a judge. Now will we deal worse with thee than with them, talking about the men. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break down the door. But the men, see, it doesn't say angels, but the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them and shut to the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. And the men said unto Lot, Hast thou any here besides? In other words, do you have anybody else with you, your family, son-in-law, and thy sons, and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in this city? Bring them out of this place. For, here's why. We will destroy this place. Why? Because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us. Why? To destroy it. And Lot went out and spake unto his son-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked into his son-in-laws. They didn't take him serious at all. But anyway, when the morning arose, then the angels, see, it went from angels to men, now back to angels, hastened Lot, they hurried him, saying, Arise, take thy daughter, take thy wife, thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, and I'm sure, children, I hate to say this, if you were my grandchildren and you were in the city, if I didn't get you to go with me, I would be brokenhearted and maybe want to remain. But he had his orders and he better go. But while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters, the Lord being merciful unto them. Yes, he was, because you're fixing to find out what happened next. And they brought him forth and set him without the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, Escape for thy life. Look not behind thee, neither stay thou in the plain, in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. And Lot said unto them, Oh, not so, my lord, still arguing. I don't understand that. Behold now, thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy. He's right about that, which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. Well, he wasn't worried about staying there, was he? But he's still wanting his own way. Behold, now this city is near to flee into. It's a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live. So he's begging. And it's about him. Remember, Abraham was about others. I just wanted to point out the difference. And he said to him, See, I have also, this is one of the angels talking, accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city for the which thou hast spoken. So he's saying until you get out. But here's his warning. Haste thou, escape thither, for I cannot do anything. Now this is an angel talking to Lot. I can't do anything till thou become thither. So he's saying you've got to get out, because I can't destroy it till you do. And somewhere in the Bible it says that Lot was a righteous man, because it also says that he vexed his righteous soul. We don't need to be around people that are wicked. We don't need to be watching things that are wicked. We don't need to be talking things that are wicked. And if people are wicked around us, we're to shun them, get away from them. And babies, you set an example. Does anybody know by your actions in your life that you're a Christian? Are you a Christian? You know what you have to do to become saved. Believe that Jesus Christ died, that he was buried and rose again, all according to the scripture. And remember, we're all sinners, and God sent his son to save sinners. And he absolutely tells us that we're all we're all sinners because we've all come short of the glory of God. If you believe that, then you can ask him and he will save you. But I wanted to go on down and tell you the end of this. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. That was that little city he was talking about. And it's named for you. And he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew upon the ground. But Lot's wife, his wife looked back. Remember, he said, go, hurry up and go, and don't look back, don't look around, go. But she looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. So this is 3 people that had an encounter with an angel. And guys, if you was to see an angel today, you wouldn't know it was an angel. They depict them with wings, and usually they're female. The only thing in the Bible like that is something wicked. If you was to see an angel, he'd look like a man. So remember to entertain strangers, thereby some have entertained angels unaware. I'll see you next time, babies. Bye.